But did you see Radio Shack's Twitter account this week?
No.
Oh, Radio Shack was going ham. They were going hard in the motherfucking paint. This was one tweet at Radio Shack, and I didn't know what Radio Shack had been up to lately, you know? I didn't know what they were doing with themselves.
I didn't think it was still around.
Right, exactly. But I was like, I don't know. I guess people need wires or something. Like, I'm,
there's Amazon for that at this point.
Yeah, no, that's where I get my wires and stuff from. But there must still be a market, I figured, for people who are like building remote control cars or something. Is that kind of what Radio Shack was? Like, if you needed to build a remote for a remote control car, you could get the parts at Radio Shack. That's kind of...
Sure, but I mean, there's Best Buy, there's Amazon.
That's true.
There's a million other places to go get it. B&H. What are we doing?
Yeah, no. Yeah, and you're right. Amazon probably does have all those parts. And it's like, well, it's only going to take me a half hour to go to Radio Shack. And Amazon's like, what if we could deliver it to your house in 15 minutes and give it to you for cheaper? How can you ever possibly afford that? Well, we won't pay the workers. All right.
Doesn't come out of my pocket, right?
All right.
Yo.
Say less. Let's do this. So Radio Shack's Twitter starts going wild, and they go, just took an upper decker in Applebee's AMA. And I was like, yeah, eating good in the neighborhood. This is where we're at. Just took an upper decker in Applebee's AMA, and you can see, I mean, interaction is what this is all about. Social media it revolves around interaction, and with 49 replies, 400 retweets, and 1,700 likes. In terms of getting ratio, that is a great ratio.
And they weren't going to get that talking about wires.
No. Who wants a new antenna for their remote control? That's 0 responses. That's no interaction whatsoever. That's Twitter being like, hey, we were wondering, would you please delete your account so we could free up some bandwidth? Because there's no reason for this account to exist.
Now, I'm not too familiar with all the cool lingo, but I'm going to guess an upper decker is something feces related.
You don't know what an upper decker is?
No, I never heard of it.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you. An upper decker is when you usually will do it to a friend who you'd consider, you know what like a herb is, right? A herb.
I've been called that many times.
Okay, so like, you know, if a herb has a house party, like a hot dog, if you had a house party in like your 20s,
sure,
your house is probably getting fucked up because you were a herb, right?
Messy. You mean sure? I think it got messy.
But I mean, like people were actually going out of their way to make your house messier because it's funny because it's your house.
I mean, I would hope it wasn't on purpose.
I think it might have been. Mom's vase gets broken at parties sometimes. That's just a thing. No, an upper decker is something that you would do to somebody like that. Not exactly an enemy, but just somebody that you wanted to mock. It's when you have to go to the bathroom, you have to make, you know, a bowel movement. And instead of, you use the toilet, but instead of using the more traditional bowl, you remove the top, the porcelain top, and you take a shit in the tank.
Oh, no, that's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, you take
that's funny.
Yeah. So you take a shit in the tank, that way whoever cleans it has to deal with it. Like you have to fish it out. There's no flushing.
And there's all that stuff in there you got to go through. And...
Plus, when you flush now, you know, when you flush, the water comes through the tank.
Yes.
So that means if you don't realize there's an upper decker in your toilet, when you flush and the water comes in brown.
Oh.
Yeah. So I guess Radio Shack did that at Applebee's.
I mean, ask me anything. I mean, I did have a few questions about that Radio Shack.
Well, yeah, see, if you had seen the tweet, you wouldn't have had to ask me. Yeah. You would have just gone right to the source. But then they also, this is the one that really got them. This is the tweet that made it a national headline. Radio Shack tweeted out from their verified account, by the way, because that's the other thing I was checking. Like, is this really Radio Shack's account? Because if it could just be a well-disguised, but no, you see, the blue check mark is right there.
Oh my God.
It says,
oh my God.
You didn't read this tweet. It says,
No.
This is why I don't show you stuff before we start. It says, if you find a squirter, marry her. Now, you know, hot dog, you know what a squirter is.
I know it has nothing to do with cables.
No, okay.
or toy cars.
Nope.
Camcorders.
Nope. I need coaxial cable, okay? I don't know why you're giving me marriage advice right now. But yeah, if you find a squirter, marry her. And I went, what is going on with Radio Shack?
Facts, though.
I mean, look.
You ain't wrong.
2,500 comments, but 24,000 retweets, 53,000 likes. And that's just whenever this screenshot was taken.
Right now, it's 2,700 comments, 30,000 retweets, and 74,000 likes.
Yeah. I also love that they did not take it down. They did not take it down. Yeah.
They believe they don't want the truth, hidden, covered up. They know.
Yeah, they think that there's been a non-squirter agenda for way too long. They like this whole
I mean, we don't talk about squirters enough.
No, and Ludacris tried to say, you want a lady in the streets, but a freak in the bed. He tried to tell you, this is what he was talking about.
He was.
And yeah. You need a lady in the streets, but a freak in the sheets. And that's what Radio Shack is trying to get across. That, like, if you find somebody that loves you and they're faithful to you and squirt, that it's like,
That is the trifecta right there.
If you find that person and you don't marry them, I would never feel sorry for you when you talk to me about the one that got away. Because it was right there for you.
The squirter who got away.
The squirter who got away. Now, I looked at Radio Shack's Twitter icon, too. And it was the traditional Radio Shack R. But it has the la-da-da-da-da, those Thug Life sunglasses.
Meme sunglasses.
Yeah, the Thug Life meme.
Deal with it sunglasses. That's what that is.
Exactly. And they're over. I go, what's going on? Radio Shack, as it turns out, went out of business.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yes. So I wasn't wrong. I wasn't too far
you
wrong.
were right. Radio Shack went out of business, and they were bought, like, the name and the IP and the domain and everything. Not any of the stock or the locations, like meaning like the store stock, like
right.
the wires.
Right. None of the wires were bought.
The wires and the connectors. I remember at the very end, Radio Shack was selling iPhones, and I was like, what kind of bum buys an iPhone from a Radio Shack?
Yeah, that's pretty ratchet.
Like, can you imagine going to your friends and be like, oh, I finally got an iPhone. It's like, oh, that's dope as hell. You're like, yeah, I went in the Radio Shack, and I was like, you went into where?
They would question whether it was a real iPhone.
100%. It would be like that episode of Atlanta. Like, you'd be the FUBU kid. Like, you thought, oh, this is going to be a great day. And as it turns out, it's literally the worst day of your life. No spoilers. I wish it had been Travis. But but yeah, so Radio Shack's IP, copyrights, logo, domain name, website address were bought up by a crypto bro. Yes. And so I'm sitting there, and this is what a trick. What a trick. The greatest trick. This is Kaiser Soze, I believe, in Usual Suspects. The greatest trick that the devil ever played was making you forget that he existed. That's what this crypto bro did. He had us all laughing. If you find a squirter, marry her. We were like, I don't know who's taking over this Radio Shack account, but whoever it is, they're the man. They rule. And then you find out it's a crypto bro, and you're like, oh, no.
God damn it.
Radio Shack is now a crypto exchange. Yes, the great once king of commerce, Radio Shack.
The one-stop shop for all tech goods,
I mean, wires mainly. Wires and coaxial connectors.
I mean, you got to give them credit for... They had the 90s down, I feel like.
You didn't go there for like a boombox or a TV or anything.
I went there for camcorders.
Because you were a bum, dude. You probably went there for an iPhone too. Like, yeah, nobody was buying camcorders at Radio Shack. That shit ran out a long time ago.
Oh, well,
yeah,
sorry.
no.
I got a VHS recorder.
Yeah, you probably got you know what you got at Radio Shack? A VHS rewinder. Like, you had those, like, separate machines. Maybe I was in the bootleg tape industry, so you needed to get a separate machine that just rewound your VHS tapes, because otherwise you'd wear out your VCR. You could get a VHS rewinder at Radio Shack. But you're dead on about Amazon. Like, the minute the internet came out, everybody at Radio Shack should have been like, I mean, we are beyond obsolete. There is no reason for a tech knick-knack store to exist. But yeah, I mean, not only are they a crypto exchange now, Radio Shack, so you can go on and, I mean, if you want to just, I guess, throw your money away, you can go on and buy Bitcoin. And
so what happens if I go to RadioShack.com?
Go to RadioShack.com. You'll see it. They even have their own coin.
Shaq is back.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
think
it
you know
is.
crypto. You don't know Shaq. All right.
Shaq is back, bro. It's the Shaq attack.
Wow.
What'd you say? No, not that kind of Shaq attack. Yes, Shaq. The Shaq is a crypto, like, you can buy Bitcoin, you can buy your Ethereum, but they're one of the ones, like, Coinbase never had their own coin. The Radio Shack exchange also has their own Radio Shack coin that I think you can get for like 7 cents a coin or something like that.
Ooh, are we buying low?
Let's buy the dip.
Yeah.
Let's get in on this dip. No. I tell you, it's the first time I traded in. I got out of crypto. I sold my Bitcoin and bought a watch. And I had not regretted it for about 2 weeks. About a week. No, 2 weeks. Almost 2 weeks I made it. Until I realized the only thing that could make crypto cool is Radio Shack tweeting about squirters.
Do you have a better tactic?
No.
No.
I mean, and they did it at the right time, too. Because it's just as, like, all that crypto and everything was crashing. Everything was jumping off. You know what I mean? Everyone was jumping off. Everyone was like, no, I'm making fun of Seth Green losing his NFTs. Like, everybody's losing faith. And the minute everybody loses faith is when the guy who owns Radio Shack is like, yo, bro, I just dropped an upper decker in Applebee's. And it's like, cool. Cool. That's cool.
I mean, it's very genius to just buy the IP and decide I have no intentions in using this for anything that it was originally meant to.
Yeah, I would love to know how much it was. Because if it was like $100,000 for everything, I would do that.
That's a worthy
Yeah, and just
investment.
imagine if I was just like, just rename this show Radio Shack. Like, hey, welcome to Lonely Friday Night. It's Radio Shack. And they're like,
it's the Radio Shack podcast.
you mean Sam Roberts now? No, it's just called Radio Shack. Because every time, how many times did that guy? And then I tweet out from this account, hey, who likes vaginas? And people would be like, what's Radio Shack doing? And I'd be like, come watch on YouTube.
The Shack is back.
The Shack is back. Everybody's excited about it. Yeah, I think it'd be genius. Because every, month, there's going to be a conversation somewhere where people are like, whatever happened to Radio Shack? And then they stumble upon the show. It is genius as long as it's cheap. If it's really expensive IP, then it's not genius at all. It's stupid.
Well, who has the Blockbuster IP? I mean, we got to jump on something.
Well, Blockbuster's not technically out of business. There's one Blockbuster left in Bend, Oregon.
Yes.
Have you seen the documentary about it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's one Blockbuster left in Bend, Oregon. I hope it stays there forever. I love it. The Blockbuster IP is actually going to be worth money because you will be able to sell like Blockbuster t-shirts and hats and stuff like that as nostalgia retro quiche.
Yeah. Blockbuster was a lot bigger in the culture than Radio Shack.
Well, and also Blockbuster was cool.
Yes.
Radio Shack was never cool. Like Radio Shack had wires.
Well,
and
for me it was.
No, it was never cool.
It's pretty cool to me.
Mom, we're going to Radio Shack? Like, that was not a thing that anybody
Daddy, I want to go to Radio Shack.
You said we could go to Radio Shack. And he's like, son, I'm paralyzed. How can we go to Radio Shack? Plus, you're in high school. Why are you calling me daddy? It's ridiculous. I think Radio Shack's out of business, hot dog. What are you doing in here?
That phone call was actually yesterday.
Have you seen what they're tweeting? Just in case says Radio Shack's a great battery store. It was a great battery store. It was a great store for batteries. But, beyond that.
Tape?
What do you, oh, you mean like
electrical kind of tape? Oops. There you go. So, stuff like to hold the wires down.
I don't think they had tape. I mean, they might have had like VHS tape and audio tape, but I don't think they were not a good. Home Depot is a good store for tape. Radio Shack is a terrible store for tape.
I'm just trying to think of something that would be useful that they would also have because I would.
That's another thing. You go in like trying to prove to your friend that Radio Shack is cool. You guys got tape? No. You guys got TVs? Mm-mm.
No, we don't do that.
No,
we have wires.
Yeah, I'm here to buy some tape. VHS tape? What? No. Audio tape? No, like sticky tape. Oh no, we don't have that. It's like, don't you see
I thought you guys were the tape store.
They're literally an analog store. Like, all they do is they're like, hey, good news. We have everything you could possibly need for analog technology.
It wouldn't be that bad to just have one Radio Shack. All these places that close down like Blockbuster, you could have one. Maybe you buy the IP and then you buy it in a hot place in town, you know, like a hipster Williamsburg kind of thing.
No, because nobody cares about Radio Shack.
But
do you know who would watch a documentary about the last Radio Shack? Only you and your dad, because he couldn't leave.
Dad, this is the best part. Come on, you're not looking.
Turn it. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding.
Just suffering.
Looking like Tio Salamanca. Yeah, no, it wouldn't work at all. It wouldn't be a cool place to visit. Oh, I'm going to go visit the last Radio Shack. Why? They should close it. They should definitely close it.
It would kill with the hipsters. The hipsters would love.
I don't think hipsters love Radio Shack. Now they do, because hipsters love upper deckers.
Yeah.
So maybe now. Yeah, I guess when crypto goes under, what else are you going to do with it? Maybe you build the last Radio Shack somewhere. Try to get some sap to do a documentary on it or something.
I volunteer.
That'd be great. Hot Dog does the talking head interviews, like how I do WWE stuff on A&E. Hot Dog's on the Radio Shack one, just lying.
Yeah.
I
remember.
This was a really cool store growing up. No, everybody's watching going, where? What are you talking about?
It was the heart and soul of Harlem back in the 90s.
Okay, yeah. The Harlem Renaissance took place rotating around Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Just using footage of Showtime at the Apollo. Steve Harvey is rubbing the wood, and you're like, Radio Shack was great.
Yeah. Back in the 90s, we had the Apollo, we had Jimmy Jazz, and we had Radio Shack.
Yup. And there were a couple of Kennedy Fried Chicken somewhere around there, too, but mainly Radio Shack.
Oh, yeah.
Kennedy Fried was the best, right?
Still is. What?
It still is. It still is.